if you hadn't performed, you're going to get punished today. That's the simple matter of fact for me. I think this is going to be the day we're going to really see the difference. A couple more seconds, guys, and we get a glimpse at some of the teams that have been quiet. They've been at home. They haven't shown what they've got yet in these semifinals, but it's Day 2, match 1 of the semifinals. Game on, Rich.
More importantly, you might be getting a glimpse of what we are yet to see, and you're possibly going to witness when we move to Oakland. There are teams in here that are absolutely, for sure, going to be in that arena fighting for that share of not only $2, but $3 million. This is the big one, though. When we look towards this now, Lauren, we have a very damn good potential that we get contested hot drops.
Now, instantly, FaZe, AFF, for example, these are the teams you have to watch out on. Milta, Power. It's been contested, it's been questioned, it's been brought up as a potential, as maybe a clash. Now, whether or not that's the case, yet to be seen. Hell, the Rumblers dabbled with it as well. We know teams like that position, but this playing path does not allow for much play there. So where's the adaptation? Where do they move to?
I can see it on the map. You guys can keep watching where people will be dropping, and we'll keep an eye on certain close combat scenarios. But for now, you will get the reposition coming out of both AFF and FaZe. Given the fact that the plane was more towards the western side, you can't going for the long drop. Is it doable, grabbing vehicles? Hey, yeah, it's doable, but you're going to be there later on. It takes time. Enters Genesis. Here we go, rock and roll. Both teams in Pachinki. Potentially, we might see a fatality or two right off the bat.
We knew this was a potential. We knew there was a chance for these heavily contested areas. You're seeing those SMGs coming out, and they're strong these days. Nerf's got one in hand, and we do see the Force Boys having their own kind of sloppy loot on them, but it looks like a cross might have been spotted there. Who's got the fire? It's Profi catching one on the cross, but how is this being divided? It looks like Genesis mostly has the south, whereas Enter's Force has a little bit further of the north, but they're close. They're fighting each other. We normally see it almost this gentleman's agreement of, well, you take the top, we'll take the bottom, we'll leave it as is. Not today.
All of these individuals that are sat here now, yes, you saw Profi picking up the gear and picking up the helmet to the chest, something that give him a level of defense. You have to be so careful, because no matter what happens, when you're dropping down and picking up those weapons straight off the bat, you are completely exposed out in the open with no kind of vest or helmet to defend yourself. If someone hits you in the head, you're going down. Speaking of going down, Doya, the first victim here, he's not dead, but Nerf sits him down with the SKS.
It's incredibly hard to flush in any of these situations because they're mostly in buildings, but to get that first knock gives you a way forward. Profi is chasing it. He wants those points. He wants to stamp their authority on this area. Get out of Pachinki, it's ours. But still, Enter's Force cannot be underestimated. They still have a bit of a surround here. Indigo's spot isn't bad, but I think K-Mind might have a little bit of an idea where he may be. Let's see if they can find an angle or a way through or a way out.
I'm interested to see if Genesis make an advancement here when it comes to the fact that they are actually, they've got one down, they have the man advantage. For Enter's Force, though, Korean teams, they're very much, they'll talk about it, they'll see the scenario. You don't want to go just running in haphazardly and then losing more players for the sake of it and handing over points to more to the... remember, everyone here is against you. We're looking at a leaderboard that we only find 16 teams by we're all said and done. Feeding them points makes your situation in the leaderboard even more harder, because you then take, basically, less players to the end circle.
And I want to talk about what happens in a 4v4 or a 4v3. Generally, you've got to be careful if you're the team with 4 players alive, as strange as that sounds, because you know you're kind of hoping the other team will force their way into you and you can maybe exploit that. Now, I like what Genesis is doing, staying as a pack of 3, roaming through, clearing through, staying somewhat safe, trying to elevate their loot currently. They probably need a great deal more. And you can already see, even that Scar there, only 30 bullets, no backup. So again, even for Enter's Force, not ideal, and they're trying to take their time. But Enter's Force aren't pushing this. They're not trying to refrag here. But it does mean they're slowed down and they're locked in.
If we see anything happen in advancement here, we can dive into it. I'll let you take over from that one, Lauren, when we do. I'll give you a brief update to where teams are actually perpendicular on the map. FaZe Clan, it's the backup drop. They're on Sosnovka. Used to see them coming off the back of the bridge and then moving over, but Na'Vi will just be on there. They have to be aware. Na'Vi are not a team we see engage early game. They take the long woods. They go for the loot. They're not too far from the center side of the circle, so they'll be happy for now and leave FaZe to it. AFF went all the way down to Novo. Long drop for them. Actually, excuse me, no, they didn't. They went for the 2-2 split. 2 Milta, 2 Novo. They'll be quiet on the way in. No one really should give them any kind of buffering on the entrance side of it. VC, that's going to be above the farmlands through the split across from Pleasant to the left-hand side. Ghost, Yaz, Naya, Red Canids, Rodsock, completely uncontested. Enters Ace all the way up at the top of Severny. That's actually a huge wide split there. Shooting range, Severny, how Packers actually all the way towards Zaki as well, and then we come further afield. Georgia Paul will see Gen G, usual scenario for them. T1, however, they're on the northern side of it. They are moving. They're going to be what we usually call the cross stack, coming across the bridges, moving down towards the mountainside. 4 a.m. The beast of a team that we've seen smash faces time and time again. They're on the rotation. They're heading through Gatka. 4-man stack. AHQ will be in their way, though. Keep an eye on the kill feed.
Yeah, you're looking towards this sort of centralized area just south of the Gatka fields. That's probably your center point that if there is room you want to take. Now, you could argue the Rumblers have an incredibly strong spot as well. It's that God compound that they control, and they're not being static in that either. Their stealth spread relatively well around. They're going to be trying to take as much information as they can, ensure no one comes close. And let's not forget, Na'Vi in the south have been very good in these circles in the past. They're very good at taking territory where they find it, slow builders. They often opt for that compound just east of Quarry. So a lot of these teams have their favored positions. And let's not forget, as exciting as that enters against, I guess the Pachinki fight in total, anyone on that area, the problem is now getting out of there. One, their loot's going to be so trash compared to what they'd like it to be. Vehicles, they're going to be moving in hyper late here. So again, for these guys, was it worth it? That's what we need to find out, because we know time and time again, whenever you fight in these towns, it can be a loss down the line. FaZe have made it across Sosnovka Island, somewhat safe, heading on the southern coast, could wrap up the side, play wherever they fancy. We don't see too many teams contesting just as of yet.
The lucky thing for FaZe is that they play Na'Vi time and time again when it comes to PEL. They know where they like to loot. They know they don't set up any encampments. Even when teams like Liquid, for example, would rush out of Pachinki and going across the bridge on a Sosnovka Island circle, they'd never touch them. So for FaZe, this will be an easy rotation. Hell, they might even stop off in Prim to pick up any extra meds, bullets, or bandages if they need them. They've got plenty of room to play. This will be an easy rotate for them. However, more towards the middle side, teams are getting set up central, and this is because there's a hell of a lot of water in play. When we look towards the west and the south, the circles will be slowly but surely coming in. When we get to circle 4, we get the land ratio, we move away from water. To get Quarry, it's difficult and takes quite a few hard shifts, all for the circle at least to stay in that vicinity, and that's why more people are banking on it moving towards that swamp-type area.
Still plenty of time, though. This is the thing. You've got to argue that there is no big necessity in crashing compounds yet. There's so much room for hard shifts for these circles to move pretty much anywhere. We've seen plenty of areas that can be incredibly divisive in this, that can completely make a team, let's say Rumblers, who currently probably have a very strong position, have to move. Now, we are seeing 4 a.m. having a great deal of a look towards that as well. They are not ignoring that presence. Now, Ghost Gaming, similar position to FaZe coming into this, a little colder, coming through, you know, pretty strongly in where they were playing before. This is the first we get to glimpse towards them in those semifinals. AFF, though, Lambu in danger, and he has actually been found there. That's a big loss early on for AFF. Not what I wanted to be seeing for them. Call off on rotations coming in late. That split in the 2-2 format may have hindered them, slowed them down, waiting on the others. Who knows what the problem was, but it's cost them a player early.
Communication will come through from Enter's Ace. Probably tell the rest of them, you know what, don't take this bridge. Re-rotate and go for the more westernly one out of northern side of George. Avoid these bullet strassels on the far side. Dome goes down, VC, so that's a response, but that's an unfortunate grenade from the opposing teammate.
This is sloppy, it's quick, they just want to get themselves in the circle, get done with this fight, but Summers having a little bit of a double back down. He's coming around for a look at this one, but he's going to be swinging past in the car. NN does definitely get a glimpse on that. You could hear the shots coming through. Shadow has been called to try and supplement support. Summers out on foot. He wants this fight. They're trying to back this up here. VC are down to 3, with Lambu now being flushed, gone down. You could instantly see the eyes check towards it. They know that now AFF are a little bit weaker than they were before.
If Lambu were the one that was knocked by the nade, by the self-team nade, then that point won't go to anybody because the blue will take him. I can't absolutely confirm that because I didn't see exactly who killed him, but I'm sure it was the self-nade. The little jump up, though, to get the peek and the information is responded on. Remember, this is all happening outside of the blue, and while this does, all the teams that can... It's quite a distance, and they'll all be looking onwards to the circle, but they'll understand what's going on.
Style, he wanted that so bad, gets so badly outdone by Tide, though. You saw Tide almost jump them when the peak first came in, but the instant turnaround, really nice, calm, and collected play from VC, holding the line here. Freak of Freaks are not looking so, I guess, together. They look a little bit out on their own here. It's down to Shadow and NN to try and pull this one back and maybe make something out of this. But with a new circle, it's centralized towards the mainland. You've got to look at the Rumblers, AHQ, these sort of teams. I guess Gen G as well being in a somewhat good position, and already FaZe just suffered a knock against 4AM. The heavyweights could be clashing here and a flush to follow.
Wow, okay. Willis, a.k.a. God V, straight onto Mexi. IG, well, not actually the IGL, but certainly the team captain of FaZe Clan goes down. That's from a distance as well. We will be fighting across the quarry.
This position, I don't like that for FaZe at all.
I'm glad we're actually on Navi's POV, because the third party could be a real. The fact that 4AM pushes them from the front and basically bottlenecks them. If Navi understands what's going on here and has read that 4AM are pushing in them, they could apply the pressure from behind and completely slap FaZe.
Oh, on VC, it looks like they're being smothered here. AFF, though, I don't know how many meds they have. They've got plenty, but the pressure was just far too heightened at this point. Smoke's going up, giving DJ Boy just a chance to maybe buy a second or two to get a heal off, do something. Because NN and the boys are looking to use that utility, put their nades down, hinder any progress, but they're not getting it for free, and they're not getting into the circle anytime soon.
At which point, Lauren, do you have to say that this becomes a bit of an ignorant push to stay here to try and get the kills, because you know you've had, by doing this, you're staying out in the blue and causing yourself so many problems. Everyone else is getting ahead of the game, and you're dying outside of the blue.
We'll come back to that when we see the sort of, I guess, result of the fight. But K-Mine and Genesis have rocked up. They've made their way out of Pachinki. They survived and they moved, and they've managed to roll up towards the Red Cannon. It's the first glimpse I'm getting to see of these guys. Losing out on Rusty Zera again this early? This isn't good for the region. They wanted to see these guys perform. They wanted to see their teams putting up a big performance, and to see Genesis just walk up like that, maybe catching them off guard.
It was either a long-range scout or someone who was just kind of caught back, because the problem is for the Red Canids, directly in front of them, infantry is in the woods. Those woods provide you a certain amount of leverage over your opponent looking downwards. You can hide between the trees, between the dips and divots. Off the back of them, actually seeing one of the players, Lin, has a VSS. Please, just after yesterday, release Lin, let him off the leash. If he goes off with that thing, that's going to be fantastic to watch. I mean, generally we don't see him any VSS in play, but...
It's the best gun in the game, I don't know why.
Well, I'm yet to see the meta change when we're looking towards VSSs, we're looking towards SMGs.
It's a free 4 times and a suppressor. I like it. You know, it tickles them. It's a nice little weapon. And Lin is certainly on duty there, trying to have a look across. Of course, infantry did have those issues with the player yesterday and himself, so glad to see him back and able to play again. And I think it's going to be always followed with a little bit of an asterisk of, you know what, let's see how far they can take this. And if they do well, brilliant. That's really good news. However, everyone seems to be kind of settled in here.
To be fair, I was in the lift with them this morning. All happy and all smiles, all laughing and giggling, having a joke amongst themselves. So I thought, you know what, that's the best way to take this. It was a little bit unfortunate what happened yesterday. If you didn't know, one of the players was taken down. They run with a 3-man stack. The points certainly were affected by it, but now they're here. They returned to the full 4 men. Yes, they got 2 games in yesterday to finish it off, but the points were hit. It's do or die for them. We'll see how this goes. Again, all the Chinese teams are in play here. And there are some... it has to be said, 4AM does come painted with a target on its back because of how good it's been doing. This is your Phase 3 champions when we look towards their leagues. And they have the structure, the ecosystem that China brings to the table is absolutely fantastic.
If you're going to speak of 4AM, I can't help but think of FaZe. If you're looking at the 2 giants in this lobby currently, FaZe are in a... I actually don't like their spot. They're going to be funneled towards Na'Vi. I don't see how they're going to make it around this otherwise. It's either that or 4AM. Pick your poison. Everyone on rotation, though. Look at the north. They're all coming down that western side, whether it be behind FaZe or early cut above Quarry. That's on the team's decision-making. Ghost on the move as well. Everyone trying to find their next position. Still a little bit of room, but keep in mind those Gatka fields are not that playable in comparison to some of the areas. You still have that southeastern field in play too. So there's a little bit less terrain than maybe some of these teams would like. It looks like VC are finally disengaging from that battle, that scrappy, horrible fight out in the blue. They're going to make it in prior to the other team. And FaZe under fire again. It's a doozy. It's a bit of an EU battle, which probably tastes pretty sour to them as FaZe making the run. And I hate this position. And they've got to play. They've got teams coming around the back of them too. FaZe are about to be pinched, and that's a big headshot coming in. Fuzzface does make it forward, but this is a very poor first showing.
Na'Vi knew they were here, and they've stuck by their guns, which might be the death of FaZe rather early. Losing Mexi like that puts them at the predicament that everyone rings the dinner bell and says, you know what, boys? They are weak, and they are in a terrible position. All these teams that will be flooding down from the western coastline, they'll have to come south and then embank from the Longwoods area. Now, don't forget, excuse me, I'll pause for a second. I can see it on the side, AFF. They have turned up to the party, and because they were so damn late, all the teams are ready, waiting, and able to take the free points and free frags.
Good recovery for the Red Canids, definitely needing it after losing the player earlier on towards Genesis. Shadow goes down, and AFF bow out early. A little bit of a surprise to me, but maybe a recovery could be in order. A poor start, maybe a reminder that Pachinki isn't just a free take these days. It is going to be fought, and it will echo throughout the game. Ghost make it in, but barely. They're up against 4AM. Not a name I'd like to face in this early section of this matchup.
I think Ghost will have to take blue damage, to be honest, because there's nowhere else to go going forward. Puts you at the footholds of 4AM inside the buildings. It's going to be a rough retake, if a retake at all. You can't simply do that. They'll tank the blue, they'll move forward, they'll go all the way around to the south. But again, you're still at this worrying prospect that when you go down south, you have Ace, you have BC, Na'Vi, FaZe, they're all down here.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams in the south trying to find maybe a less than ideal position to take. I'm seeing Entus Ace, I think, down there as well, and VC just about making it their way in. So look, southeast here. I see Joy. I see them trying to find maybe a spot in the circle. Moves towards the west. That's going to put a couple of teams on notice here. Genesis, Red Canids, you have Infantry, AHQ. All of these teams now going to have to fight for very limited ground. Profi gets in the battle. The Red Canids are out for blood, though. Avenging their fallen teammate could be a must. Profi gets found, and now it looks like a flush is quick to follow. As Genesis got off to the hot start, they look deadly, but now being slightly muted here.
Red Canids have to get this done, though. They have to get as many down as humanly possible to walk through this because they are being gate-kept. Genesis want to take these 3 points quite easily if they can hold them outside of the blue. It's on their back, and it will be moving in 23 seconds. They do have Raspu on the off angle, though, Lauren, that might be able to get something done. If he gets a second knock, then maybe the advancement comes from the two that are on the left.
Well, that's why Nerf just repositioned, trying to get an off angle towards him because Raspu was keeping Genesis locked. He couldn't do much. Now he's been spotted. He has to go. It looks like Ghost Gaming are having issues. Entus F have just been caught as well. 4AM showing their worth already. Ghost Gaming goes straight in towards FaZe. FaZe already being put on a big amount of pressure. Vegas gets collected by Fuzzface, but that's not going to be the flush. Strimzy straight up in front. And as much as, yes, Fuzzface did some damage, the answer is swift. And Ghost Gaming may be scrappy, but FaZe are looking pretty poor here. There's 2 remaining. They're not in good spots. They're now being surrounded. Yes, you might win against Ghost, but then who are you going to be coming up against next? You have the likes of 4AM waiting on the doorstep, and exactly that. 8C going to get Shrimzy. Vegas gets flushed. FaZe are trying to hold on. It's just down to Drassel now for Ghost Gaming.
You would have thought that he had to get in. Oh, I didn't realize where Fuzzface's position was, so he clearly has the footsteps. And the audible cue that he's there. K-Mind and Nerf fall down. Red Canids, they're doing damage. We have to go and take a look at that fight. Genesis are on the back foot. They've only got 1 man standing.
Genesis are in all kinds of danger. The Red Canids can keep backing away, peeling away, moving closer and closer to the circle, falling away from these positions. One of their players is a little isolated, but as that blue hits, it's going to hurt. Genesis are in trouble. Those revives now become impossible, and they're down to 1 man. It all looks so good until they just fell a little short there. H-Win on the run. That's a very brave... Yeah, no, not going to happen. He's going to try and get the revive off. The heal off. But it's not going to work out at this point. I think he's dead in the water here. If Red Canids don't find him, the blue's going to get him, but he's going to try and take one with him. How much damage can this man do from the blue?
Try and get as many... What? H-Win! That is sick to get those points because you'd expect the heal not to be able to get off. So to pick up the points before going down, it's the best of a bad situation. Unfortunately, Genesis falling 14th, but he at least collects them before doing so.
And now the battle in the south. This is a war zone over here. You've got Na'Vi, southeast. You have so many teams. Still have Drassel for Ghost Gaming. Still have FaZe Clan and lingering over the top of them. The gods staring down from the hillside. It's 4AM. I would not want to step forward. Look at them. Look at Na'Vi, desperate for an angle of anything. Entus Ace trying to find a way forward, and yes, they spot a doozy, but where's that next shot going to come from?
Remember, this is where Na'Vi was, so they give up this position to let teams arrive into it because now they can choke them. They can just throw grenades, a full bombardment, and there's 2! Senya hits both of them. And now Mickey and Joy, well, if Na'Vi doesn't get them, 4AM will because they are lingering in the distance. There's 2 players upside of the hill. And ZGG's already got the angle on Na'Vi. The pressure will apply, and these 3 teams will be clashing heads any second.
Senya's overstepped. That, what? He just turned that on Mickey. That's ridiculous. He is being hyper aggressive. He was out in the open. The blue was going to move him forward. That is ridiculous play from Senya. This looks like Na'Vi almost pissed off, if I'm honest. They look like they want to fight. They need these points, but lingering in the background is so many other teams. Yeah, you can get past Enter Sage, but you still have FaZe looking for a little bit more 4 AM. The circle has moved slightly further north now. So this will force all these teams to move forward. So they need to sweep out the southern side. A doozy collecting the points on Mickey. It's just Joy left alive, and I don't know if he's going to be able to fight his way out of this one. Already FaZe have disengaged. They're looking for those next steps. Drassel's doing the same, and Na'Vi are locking out Enters so handedly. These nades, this is a horrible situation for this man.
Vert nade goes up, they're inside the buildings, they're knocking at the door. I don't think Joy can do two. Okay, I'll hold on for now. Nade should bank off the wall and maybe collect it before he goes down because they'll be on the advancement. The reason they push so hard on this is the fact that the topography actually allows you, you're essentially tucked inside a bowl. The nades will continue forward, they'll try and get it down. What more can he do? I'll hold for a second. Absolutely nothing. Navi get him down. They take out all 4 members, but it's not without punishment. They lose a doozy by doing so.
A doozy, I feel, overstepped that. He went too far ahead, but FaZe need to be ready for what's coming their way. You're going to see Na'Vi moving up. You're seeing Drassel lingering in the background. Fuzzface finally finds out, but 80 turns it on a dime. The trade comes back in from Senya, who's having a hot game and a half. That's the flush. There's the nade. Goodbye, FaZe. Down in 12th.
This is the Na'Vi that we've been wanting to see, Lauren. They've been a bit quiet going through the group stage. Yesterday in the semis, they started to wake up, but you called it perfectly. This is their territory. This is their lay of the land. They drop around here, and they work perfectly. The problem that's in front of them now is, have they overstepped their boundaries? Have they bought off too much time by handing back and allowed 4 AM and Infantry, both the Chinese teams, to get up close and personal?
VC are flying in down here. I'm not sure what their plan is. Infantry are being forced away, and this is where 4 AM arrived. They were waiting patiently on the hills behind. They were always going to be the victors of this one. Dance all you want. It doesn't matter. Na'Vi eliminated in 10th, and 4 AM hold. Still, so many players stand for them. They're in perfect condition. Infantry try to fall away, but VC turned up out of nowhere.
Beautiful flank from ZGG to get that angle with the SKS and get the job done. The grenades will continue forward. 4 AM though, this is VC, Infantry and 4 AM all potentially going at it. Summer, last man just lingering in the distance, looking at DJ Boy and saying, I'm sorry fam, I cannot help you out whatsoever. All 3 players of Infantry are making advancement here. ZGG reads the information, answers back.
That's a second.
What? How is he doing this? That's 2 back-to-back.
He's pushing it. He's going for the third, and why not? The man is a god! Absolute beast play coming out from 4 AM. Huge control in the southern side, and already Forever was looking at the next position to go to. The circle continues to look towards the north. The east is the next battleground as well. That is littered with teams and players, and it's far from resolved. 4 AM have a southern approach here. It may not be pretty, but they have something to play with.
You might be able to see Forever's position on the map. This is really smart from 4 AM. The 3-1 split gives them a bit more of a foothold in the circle. Yes, you're not in the circle, but he can look forward. He can read it. He can tell his teammates exactly where to go. You see these scouts, you see, it kind of speaks volumes. Hey, up, someone's just died to the blue. You got a bit too greedy there, my friend. Unfortunately, Lou does touch the outskirts and goes down. That'll slow them down. But Forever's off on his own. He's finding a good position on this. We'll roll it back to Genji at the moment because they're going head-to-head with the Rumblers. And the Rumblers, they're losing people instantaneously, 1 by 1.
This is what I'm going to be worried for the Rumblers. If their aggression and their confidence gets dampened, can they recover from that? They've been playing a careless game. AHQ. Oh no, that's too many in a vehicle. That's too much damage. The car's on fire. They pull up, they stay alive. 3 still stand. 1 nade would do so much. T1, no. There is blood in the water, and they are looking vicious for this. Milk goes down. 1 man alive for now. The nades start to roll in. And Lee, there's nothing to be done here. T1 on the cleanup.
Jeff Locker and Adder, 2 individuals we've seen so far doing work throughout their respective league, and this time stepping it up big. Gets the easy free 4 points. Loki goes down in the kill feed. He's over by the one basically lone shack over here, but Forever is in the distance. He's checking what's going down. ZGG finally. Someone's put a stop to his works that he's been doing. The madness that's been unrolling so far. Esther needs to be extremely careful. Lingering around the vehicle, playing ring around the roses. Gets him, but there is revolve in the back.
Jerry Poppins still trying to do some damage here, and Gen G get eliminated. A little bit of help coming in from 4 AM.
It's 10 kills for them, Lauren. They're absolutely on fire, this one.
Yeah, I felt that maybe FaZe would like to make a big impression, but apparently 4AM want to do it all, and they are holding every bit of territory. You could argue Summer's going to maybe be a nuisance, because I think 4AM believe it's clear that could be something that maybe causes an issue down the line. For now, they want to clean up in the East. We are seeing WClick fighting over the players, and uh-oh, the nades are so good here.
Let's take a look at the teams that have 4 standing. 4AM, WClick, and T1 in the north. No one really to give them any kind of pressure whatsoever. Willis will be able to get central point here. Akkad with the 8x scope should be able to read the information. They're going to be downhill. Forever holds them back for now and just gives them a warning shot. They're making an aggressive push. They're going across the road. They say, bollocks to this, want to get involved. They can take that dip, and that's great.
That's just about all they're going to get, though. And I wouldn't want to be that close to any of these players, but they do have the 2 holding the back lines. Really nice read from T1. Highly risky. Now, 4 teams stand. Let's look at the overview of what this means. You do have 4AM in the south. They still hold great territory. Summer could be a nuisance. WClick southeast. They're trying to move up on the lower ground. It's kind of a rolling hillside out towards the east. And T1 control the north and the center. T1 might get too much attention here. Everyone might start looking their way. They're the easier target. Because look at WClick. They can't crest that hillside. So they're almost somewhat safe from each other here in the south.
Akkad will be left in the Wizards Tower just to be a nuisance and maybe apply pressure. Adder also trying to get the off angle. Big shout out both to Forever for taking that shack early, and then Helen and Jeff Locker to make that wild run to the dip and take full control now of the central point of the circle. No one else can get to them. In the north, it's completely locked down by their 2 players. It does become difficult for those 2 players to meet up with them because they're on an open embankment. So they'll be open to both 4AM and WClick. But the problem is, where does WClick go? Who do they strike first? Do they go around and maybe tag T1 from the eastern embankment, or does 4AM have enough grenades in the tank that they just want to throw them over and get involved?
Okay, going past, probably Adder and Akkad dying here. This is going to be a stalemate. And WClick, the only time they're going to do it is trying to catch him off. But look at the way 4AM are positioning. And the way this unfolds poorly for 4AM is that Summer is the dagger in the back, the assassin from the blue, and WClick try and capitalize on that. That's about it. And then T1 just watch on from the distance because they are holding themselves safe. Summer creeping in, desperately trying to stay alive, hoping someone wipes the other. Look at them. He can see way less in the distance. He can see these players. He knows they're there. He's just desperately holding on for placement. But little does he know, he's waiting on 3 other teams who have all players standing. T1 have made it across. They've just put 2 of their players across the road. I'm amazed they've made it that far. This means that 4AM are adjusting their sights, maybe considering where that next piece of play is going to come from.
They've gone for the highest point on the map here, which gives them a full read and overview, but they've no idea he's behind them. I'm getting flashbacks from Face It here. I remember what happened the last time we were in this kind of... No, never mind. I spoke way too soon. Forever says, nope. Get out of it. Get gone. VC eliminate 4th position.
Now, you can't look past the fact of the amount of territory that T1 currently hold. Let's see. Yes, this is good for them. They hold the complete northern portion. 4AM still in a very good spot just because of the hillside. The way it rolls keeps them safe from WClick. Now, WClick needs to decide where they want to go. Do we try and crest the hill to fight 4AM? Probably not, because that exposes us to T1. Then how can we fold towards T1 ourselves?
They are absolutely the bait for both of these teams, regardless of who they engage first. If they go to 4AM, T1 steps up. If they goes towards T1, 4AM says, you know what, it's time for us to bite. They are currently just... I feel so sorry for them. They're the ones that have to make a movement. As soon as you get inside this circle, you are completely exposed. They have no map control whatsoever here.
I wonder how much utility they have to maybe play with. You can see that 4AM are using Zhao Lu here to try and hold off the push on the hill. Basically, if he gets contact, he has a really nice off angle to deny WClick. I'm liking the spread from T1 as well. They've got the kind of 2, or maybe you could argue maybe a 3-man pack towards the northeast side a little bit more, and you have 1 man isolated, depending on maybe if there's going to be a bit of a split on its own.
Roll the car.
Have to wait and are they doing that?
If they put the car forward, they could roll it and use it for cover as it's going down. And I wondered, I didn't know how many wheels it had left.
It doesn't sound like
I think
many.
it's gone backwards, to be fair, so that might not be the play. Initial contact might have been seen. If he'd have gone too far and overstepped the boundaries, Zhao Lu might have said, okay.
This could be just a patient game. We might just be playing till the very end here. This could be WClick trying to just shuffle in even to the most minute of amounts. Because well, T1 aren't going to be looking over that hillside too much because they overpeak. And looking at the guns they have, I'm not seeing minis, I'm not seeing SKSs. It looks like they can't be taking those long-range fights here.
I suppose it's only really Akkad that can see them. I mean, one individual out of all these teams can do enough damage, but smokes are up, movement will be made. They're inside the circle, they don't have to go too far. they can just build themselves a little bit of a barrier as the circle now constricts all of these teams together. The cap player would be, it'd be an IQ 9000, to be honest, if you rolled it.
4AM leading, hold on. 4AM is starting to lead, they might go on this one. If too much contact gets made, 4AM need to push this. They're going to deny the hillside. Look at the line of Molotovs that now light up the top of that hill. Ragnar now has very limited vision. They're being pinned in. T1 now know what's coming their way. Acad certainly should soon, because they are not far from this. Harold makes the run, first to get contact. They see the first man, they can't take him down. Acad holds the line, but now we see 4AM starting to get behind them. They want the points, they want the kills. It's 12 already.
W-Click have been battered from two sides, unfortunately. Jeff Locker, Acad and Ada, but 4AM have to move, and they're going with a four-man stack straight down the middle. Helen is on the left-hand side. Be aware of that. He's watching that line. He is the thorn in the back. Should 4AM overstep the boundaries here? I think he's been spotted.
There's the push. We're down to 2. Here's 4AM against T1. Already a spray. It's good. ZGG is in danger. 4AM need to still themselves, prepare themselves for what's coming their way. T1 wants to push this though, and they might be right to do so. A huge victory for T1 if they get it right. Never write out 4AM. I certainly will not. They're trying to get a last-minute revive. This is so dangerous. This is so deadly. T1 are on the hunt. They see Forever. They flush him. T1 up to 10 kills, but only 2 stand.
They're giving him the information, though, but the smokes will be left. Whaler sees him. One-on-one versus engagement. Can he see him through the smoke? Oh, he's there. He's got him. It's done. 4AM. 4 very angry men. What a game. 15 kills.